Welcome into Locked On Cubs alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. We are with you for a Monday bonus episode as we close out the month of October. We're lifelong fans taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. And we're here for some specific injury updates on top prospects with the Cubs. And this bonus episode is brought to you by Simply Safe Home Security. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/lockedonmlb to save 20% on your Simply Safe security system when you sign up for interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplysafe.com/lockedonmlb to learn more. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Over the weekend, the news broke that prospect Alexander Canario suffered a broken ankle and shoulder dislocation. This
Oh,
happened on Thursday night in a game in the Dominican Winter League. Canario hit 37 home runs across three levels this past season. Probably not fair to say the Cubs were counting on him for 23, but obviously a lot of implications that we'll discuss, and that makes the offseason maybe a little less clear on the front office end. Also, some updates on Brennen Davis, who is not expected to return to the Arizona Fall League this month due to back tightness.
oh,
Davis, who hasn't played in more than 100 games in a professional season,
oh
had a
my
back
God.
surgery this past year, did come back and finish strong this season, also was off to a red hot start in the AFL, but you won't see him until spring training. And finally, Mark Gonzalez, now of the Sun-Times, reported this weekend that catching prospect Miguel Amaya did indeed break a bone in his foot in September, and there is no timeline as of yet on when he will return to baseball activities. Certainly a somber tone, Sam, and the future with these prospects are bright. They still are ultimately at the end of the day, but this throws a loop in a lot of things.
I'd like to apologize to the listeners for starting their week with this news. This is a somber episode. This will be our most somber, depressing episode. This is why it's a bonus episode. It's short. Probably until the next time the Cubs lose a baseball game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's not a big deal because it is, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk about it in order of how big of a deal it is. I think Brennen Davis is the biggest deal of the three, and here's why. He already had a severe back injury and back surgery. So for him to now be experiencing tightness in the fall league, it's just not a good sign. I understand post surgery, you're always going to have hiccups and some soreness and things like that until it's resolved. But he's such a young guy, and you start to worry about a chronic issue at this point. You start to worry about, is he injury prone with that back? Is that going to affect him? Then you move over to Canario, just a really severe injury. I mean, there's no way to describe it any more than that. It's that two major injuries, both of them severe. Um, the one thing I'll disagree with you on is I actually think it makes the offseason more clear because now they're going to they have to spend even probably more than they wanted to, because now if they thought Davis was going to come in, let's say a couple months in, or Canario gets off to a red hot start in AAA and he could be your outfit. No, that's not going to happen now. So it probably makes the offseason even more interesting because now they have a little bit less in the gas tank in AAA than they thought they could have help the big league team. And Amaya, I'm concerned about, Matt, because now this is his second or third major injury. So again, when you're building this from the ground up, this is something you deal with. Being injury prone, this was a Jorge Soler thing, and you just get worried that it's a label that is going to stick with these guys for a while. Now, it still doesn't take away their title of being major assets in the organization, but some of these guys are actually going to have to come up and perform for this to work, right? PCA already had a Tommy John and a major injury before this season, right? So you get concerned, but these are young guys. They should be able to bounce back. I remember just a quick quick soccer analogy here. My favorite athlete, Lionel Messi, when he was coming up between the ages of 17 and about 2021, he was getting hurt every year. And everyone was like, yeah, we know he's probably the most talented player in the world, but can he stay healthy? And then he learned how to take care of himself, and the injuries haven't been an issue since. So, it is something that you could shake. But it's concerning, and I would be lying to our listeners if I said I wasn't slightly concerned, especially about Davis. Right? What one freak injury like PCA, he's bounced back, he's fine. Canario will bounce back, be fine. For Davis now to have a reoccurring thing scares me a little bit.
Yeah, what's his durability like moving forward? What's Amaya's? I think the thing with Canario that stings a little more for me than the other two was just in terms of timeline. He probably would have been first up with the actual major league team.
You're right, especially if it got off to a good start.
Yeah, if he comes out in spring training and the center field job, there's JBJ or Kiermaier. Who says that Canario couldn't be, with the major league team sooner rather than later? And now he won't return for a long time.
No, it stinks.
But I do think that, okay, so now you do sign a center fielder for the entire year. And so if Bellinger does get non-tendered, that's probably a more aggressive pursuit. If you feel like, okay, we could just bat the center fielder 8th or 9th, and it is one of those other two names we mentioned, okay, but it's got to be a major league already established player.
Right.
And then Sahadev Sharma reported in The Athletic, this nugget as well. He says Canario could have helped the team with his performance, but because of the Cubs' prospect depth, he could have been part of a bigger trade to bring in win-now talent. Sources with other teams indicated they'd begun advanced scouting of Canario over the final month of the minor league season in preparation for potential trades. Teams with surplus of major league pitching seem to be particularly interested.
Well,
so it just it hampers the trade market as well for Jed.
I think it does, but if you're a team trading for him, is it and you like him? It's an ankle injury and a shoulder injury, right?
Both, yeah.
And the shoulder injury,
they're both going to be operated on, though.
Oh, he's going to have two surgeries.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure I buy that really diminishes his trade value that much. It definitely it definitely hurts it. Okay, I'll say that. In terms of making an offseason deal, but when the Cubs traded for PCA, he was hurt.
Yeah, true.
So if none of these ankle surgery is not like a knee surgery. You know what I mean? He will be fine from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's just going to take time.
A dislocated shoulder. I mean, honestly, you probably rather have it I mean, here I am. I'm pretending I have a medical degree, but you probably rather have that operated on than let it heal and then redislocate it like Tatis did a bunch of times last year. So I don't know. I'm not sure that his injury is going to be a deal breaker in a major trade situation. We'll see. We'll see how he bounces back. He's more of an unknown because he's never been hurt before. I'm a little concerned about Davis. Davis better be ready to go spring training. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fair way to kind of look at that.
And then Amaya, I mean, how many injuries has he had now?
Yeah, there's been a few.
I believe he had a Tommy John, a finger, and now a foot. I mean, these are young guys.
Right. No, it's worrisome. In the moment, your fan feelings, it's not good.
No, it's when I read that article late Thursday night about 11:30 Central Standard Time, I went to the bathroom. Sure.
Right.
I was really upset. So we'll see. I think overall, my conclusion would be this is all part of the process when you're building a team through the farm. And I don't think any one of these guys is now a non-factor with the Cubs, but I think in each way, it's a little concerning. My question to you is, Matt, because you know more about this stuff than me, why did Alexander Canario have to play in the Dominican League here? I mean, he played a full season. He got promoted to AAA. Like, couldn't he take a little breather? I know that's not why he got hurt. It's a freak thing, but.
And I didn't know that he was even over there until a couple weeks ago.
I did. He was raking.
There was no, that's when I first knew about it, though. Yeah. Like, no one said towards the end of the year. Oh,
Right.
yeah, Mervis to the AFL and
did it happen
Canario to the
did it
Dominican
happen
League.
on one play? I didn't see that.
So what happened was he was running to first base, and as he struck the base with his left foot, he hit
He
it
rolled it.
awkwardly,
Yeah.
and
Then he
then
fell on the
he
shoulder.
hit himself on the
Yeah.
way down.
Yeah, it's a fluke thing.
Um,
But I will
so very
say,
unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know if the answer is more baseball. I'm not going to speculate too much,
yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of guys are getting plate appearances right now.
I will say though, and I don't mean to offend anybody here, but when you hear these injuries, you immediately think about the South Side, right? And Robert and Moncada and Tim Anderson, right? Like that's killed Eloy, right? Those core guys they build around,
Yeah.
those guys can't stay on the field, and that's a huge, huge reason that everything has gone, no pun intended, gone south there.
You're operating in this interesting window because if any of these three debuted in 23, I viewed it as a bonus. I really did.
No, you're right.
But it's interesting
No,
because
no,
but I do think they could have contributed.
I'm operating 2
Still
years.
might.
I'm operating 2 years from now. I'm not.
Gotcha. Right.
This doesn't concern me about next year. I'm just saying generally, because of what happened to the Sox.
Yeah, they've been affected by that.
I get a little bit nervous with these things, but we're not there yet. And you make the point. I really don't think this matters for the major league team next year. I think you're right. Canario could have come up if he got hot early. I think Canario and Davis were in the same timeline. I think if one of them's hitting 320 with a bunch of homers by mid-May, June, we start to hear the buzz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that's probably not the case for Canario. It still might be the case for Davis. Back tightness is something that we could revolve around. And then Amaya, yeah, Amaya's not even in consideration right now to be on this big league ball club. So you're right. This doesn't really hurt their over/under win total. It's just a little stinger, and it stings for us fans. They're going to watch every spring training game. Like watching Canario in spring training was probably in my top 5 things I was excited about starting right now.
Of course, yeah. No, it definitely deflates the excitement a bit, but I think this helped to kind of manage through some of the emotion. If this is your first time with us, please subscribe and stay with us on Locked On Cubs all off season. We will have reactions to any breaking news such as this, also potential acquisitions and player profiles and grades and things like that. And Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts on the audio side, and drop us a text, 312-834-4634. Anything else here?
Yeah, just want to let everybody know if they're wondering. We're 15 minutes away from kickoff in Dallas, so that's why we haven't discussed the Bear game yet. We're doing a quick early bonus record. Then we'll get back to our regular schedule starting tomorrow into Tuesday. We'll see what happens with the Bear game. The Illini are a 7-1 football team. Wasn't their best performance yesterday, but Nebraska's not a good football team. So we have that going for us. We're 2 wins away from representing the Big Ten West in the title game. Things are looking up. I am wearing Bulls colors today. They are not a good basketball team.
Wow, so you just covered every team in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I did. I don't like where they're headed. Okay.
We're excited to be back with you for a full week of shows on Tuesday, and we'll go from there. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.